All right, welcome to Tarqaron, baby. We're here to review the latest Disney movie. This is the sequel to the mega popular Moana. You know, it still like tops the streaming charts to this day. Like Moana, for some reason, is so highly streamed. So not only successful
It's
at the
really
time,
interesting.
but since then.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, maybe a little bit, but I think a lot of it has to do with the music. Like a lot of that is just still like, I still have those songs like written on in my brain. They're all really good. So
Right. And the way we do our reviews here on the channel is we don't discuss anything beforehand. We have no idea what the other person thinks about it coming into it. Then we're going to give our gut check, which is essentially the score out of 10 that we're most feeling right now. And then we'll have a chance to discuss and go through the review and lock in our final scores at the end, whether that changes or not. All right?
Yep.
Shall we? 3, 2, 1, flip. Oh my God, Alec. That's my guy right there. That's my guy.
Do we have that in sync? Oh yeah, baby.
This movie's ass. Somebody's got to say
This movie
it.
was really, this movie was really not good at all.
Wow.
I walked out of the movie theater, and I watched it yesterday, and I have my gaming group with two of my friends, and I started like thinking like actually let me just go into the chat history. I said Moana 2 was mid as fuck.
Dude.
I was like, but then started thinking about it more, I got so angry. I actually sent them a voice memo.
Yeah.
Like I was so let down by this movie.
I had no idea what you were gonna come in saying. I definitely didn't think it would be right on the money. 5.
No, this was not good.
You rarely see that for a Disney movie. It's like, usually it's like a bare minimum, like 7.
Would we give Wish? I like
Wish
was really
lower.
bad too, but
my
Wish
hot take was that I think this might be worse than Wish, on par with it, and it gets like a little bump just for being Moana. But if you really look at
that's me. Same, honestly, same. Because at least Wish had, as boring as it was, at least it had a story and a villain
and a couple good songs, like one or two good songs.
Yeah. This movie did not have good songs at all.
Good song. I'm like, what's going on here?
No,
nothing was popping, and then Dwayne Johnson comes in like, here we go, we're gonna get a fun Maui song, and it's like, what the hell is this?
I will say the animation in that sequence, that was probably my favorite sequence in the whole movie, because the animation was fun.
Yeah. But
did you also notice that the animation was not very good in this movie too?
My brother, because
I could not help but notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it was very good. And so I did some digging, because I was like, why is this movie this way? It starts, and I'm like, what is happening? What is going on? The first 20 minutes of the movie are so boring and slow and weird. And then the next 10, 15 minutes happened. I was like, what is happening with this? What is going on? This was originally supposed to be a Disney Plus show.
Oh, yeah. I had heard that, yeah.
I didn't know that until after I saw the movie. I was like, why is this movie
I didn't think about
weird?
It until after my brother brought that up. And I was like, oh, yeah, I did hear that, but didn't think about it at all. It's very weird. It felt like very uninspired to me, like going right into the beginning of the movie. It's like, Moana's coming back. Now we gotta just go do this arbitrary thing, and then the end of the movie, Moana's back. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So when the movie starts, and she's coming back home, and it's like this big pomp and circumstance of her coming back home, and then she says, "I've only been gone for 3 days," and I was like, "Wait, pump the brakes here for a second. You're already doing one of the dumbest things. I'm no professional screenwriter, but I'm like, how do you build a little bit of conflict here already with her and her family, her and her little sister? You were gone for 3 weeks. Where were you? Oh, I'm sorry. I was dealing with the ocean and these things. Well, you care more about the ocean than you do about your own family. Boom. Instant conflict. Instant she's still sort of torn between her life as this navigator, life back on the island. Boom, perfect. We had none of that. There's no conflict at all. It's just her sister misses her. That's the conflict. And it's
Really?
like, okay,
It's true.
I hated her sister. I really didn't like her sister. I thought it was extremely cheap. I was
Yeah,
like,
it did
you
feel that
can
way,
make
huh?
this you can make this character work if there's actually conflict, but they refuse to give. There's no conflict in most of this movie,
Hmm.
and it was like it comes across to me as like something as we can't have characters that aren't perfect. Like it felt like the Asha problem. The same thing. It's just like I'm the quirky, adorkable kind person. Moana's less adorkable, but she's like, I got these weird little quirks and stuff, but
Yeah.
I can't be imperfect. I still have to be a perfect person, essentially.
Yeah.
So, because we launched from that into her having to assemble this ragtag crew, and I was like, okay, well, maybe now
Yeah.
we'll get some conflict, right? It's just like, oh, all these people aren't getting together, and the conflict lasts for like I don't know, like 10 seconds. It's just like, oh man. And then we start building up a villain that isn't actually. Oh, it turns out like halfway through the movie, oh, she's not bad at all. Actually, she in fact gives Moana the advice that she needs to hear, which doesn't make any sense in another really not very good song. Um, and wow,
There's multiple points
very
to this,
disappointed.
yeah, that like really let me down. So, for a baseline, I'll say the original Moana. I know people love it. It's never been one of my favorites. It's always been
Hmm.
just good to me. So it was like
Hmm.
I wasn't expecting to be in love with this movie, but I didn't have anything against it coming into it. But we'll also say, just at its core, I think the visual style of Moana is something I'm not a fan of. Like it's kind of boring to me. Like just how the
Oh,
characters
interesting.
look and things like that. For some reason, it's always been pretty boring to me.
There's a lot of weird round. Everything's very rounded.
Mhm.
Um,
The feet,
I
the
I like
feet
it
are
because
very
it.
like chunky. They're like, yeah,
Yeah, I like it because it feels like a lot of sort of it feels like a lot of kind of Polynesian Hawaiian sort of art. That's the thing that I kind of have liked about it. It
yeah,
did nothing for me in this movie though. Like I liked it for what it was in the previous movie, but they didn't. Like I said, the animation and the like art and just like everything in this just felt like real budget. Like it didn't feel very good. Like it didn't wow me. Like I love animation, and nothing really. There's only like probably a couple points in this whole movie where I was like, wow, that's really impressive. Um, like I remember there was the scene where she's bringing her little sister into the water, and then the water like splashes on her hair, and then it cuts to a shot, and the hair is not wet anymore.
hmm.
And I'm like, come on. this, this used to be Disney's thing, man. Like, like what is going on here?
Well,
And like, it's
I had almost like this out of
yeah.
body experience as I'm watching it. I'm like watching myself watching it. I'm like, wow, I'm like
Yeah.
not an expression on my face like the whole time, just like nothing. Get nothing from me. It was like
Yeah.
couple little, it's towards the end, Mo-wannabes. I'm like, oh, it's pretty funny, but
I think the only thing that got and it's not even like it's actually kind of an insulting joke, but I kind of got a chuckle out of me where it was like the one joke where it was like I was like, yeah, it's just like it was like I get your back, princess, or something like that. It's like I keep telling you, I'm not a princess. Yeah, well, there's a
oh
lot
yeah,
of people who think you are. And
yeah,
then the tattoo looks at the camera,
yeah.
and I was like, I think I was laughing because of how stupid it was. I think I was more laughing at the movie for trying to think that was cute or funny,
Yeah.
and it kind of is, but it's also not.
I found the humor in this movie to not work at all for me. It's almost like they went all in on like just kids humor and that's it. It was like
It was super juvenile,
fart
super
noise,
juvenile.
like butts. It's like this is what we're doing here.
They they used the goat scream
Yeah,
Did you notice
I
that?
did actually. Yeah.
I was why they used that, and then there was like another sound effect that was like, oh, it's this meme sound effect. They used like another one,
I don't remember that.
and I was like, I was shocked. I was shocked that this movie was. I was like, what did Taika Waititi have something to do with this movie? It's like because he loves that goat scream for no damn reason. He put it in Thor Love and Thunder,
Yeah.
repeatedly, by the
Okay.
way.
Yeah,
But
the most insulting thing, and to me, the most unforgivable thing is the music. Like, what happened here?
yeah,
I'm really confused how this happened because we have Lin Manuel Miranda is doing music for Mufasa, but he's not doing music
yes.
for
So
Moana
he could
2.
so he didn't do music for Moana 2. It's still the same core of Mark Mancina, and I think he's done a pretty great job. But I don't know what happened here because he did not knock anything out of any parks. This is a strikeout if I've ever
Yeah, I
heard one.
couldn't tell you a single. I
It
couldn't
was
remember even single song from
no.
this.
And I was like walking out of the theater singing "You're Welcome." What can I say except "You're Welcome"? It's such a good song.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun
Um,
songs in that movie. You know, even the Shine,
Shiny,
and even
yeah, the
that
David
little
Bowie
guy
tribute,
comes in
yeah.
the at the end and comes up with his own horrible song. Like, damn, that was ass too. Like even your little fake song. He's like, what do you think of that? I'm like, wow, okay, everyone fell off in this movie. He wasn't even there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just wild to
Ah,
me. Like
yeah, it
what?
was.
Because it felt like
I don't know.
Lin-Manuel Miranda was there in the first one and he's not here. Good music in the first one, not one. That seems like a clear difference here. It was like, why are we putting him on Mufasa? There's no way we got anything good out of him on Mufasa, right? What?
No,
And
no. I think
there
the
was one song that was like clearly like imitating the Lin-Manuel
yes,
Miranda style.
the
Not good at all though.
the it was horrible. It was the yeah the I think I may have brought this up during which review was it during? I called it the Lin Manuel Miranda effect or something, the Mirandaization
Hmm.
of it might have been during Wish because I think that was a problem with Wish's songs because all of them were like trying to sort of emulate that kind of the kind of like rhythmic and hip hoppy, yeah, doing stuff like that. And I was like, it's kind of the bane of musicals right now because it's kind of everything sounds exactly the same and nobody does it like he can. Like, and even he's not perfect. Like
You
they
heard
did
the
that
scuttlebutt.
damn Scuttlebutt song from The Little Mermaid.
I'll take
Um,
Scuttlebutt over every song in this movie. It clears every
Yeah,
song.
I'll be actually me too. I think I would too, because at least I remember it. I
Yeah.
hate it, but at least I remember it.
And there's some personality to it. Like this was like, man, what's
Yeah.
going on? These songs are like flat. They're giving me nothing. And I'm like, I'm not even
Mm.
excited about this journey we're supposed to go on. Like, there's nothing exciting me about what's going on here.
So one of one of the biggest faults sequels can have is basically just retelling the same story as the first one, and that's kind of what they do here. Sometimes you can make it work because you can add in more wrinkles, give it a little darker tone. Um, uh, I don't know, add like a shock at the end. You know, there's all kinds of different little wrinkles and stuff you can you can do with sequels. This movie did none of that. It played it extremely safe. There was zero character development for like anyone. There was zero consequences at the end. I kind of just knew that was going to happen at the end
Hmm.
when um,
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, "There's no lasting influence." I thought like Maui might lose his powers. I thought
Nope,
that would be
not
kind
even
of
that.
cool.
Yeah,
And
right.
the next movie could maybe be a quest to try to like a quest with the gods, like him trying to get him back. But it's like, no, he gets that back
He gives
immediately
it back.
anyway. So I was
Yeah.
like, why? The final boss is just a big cloud.
Yeah.
What
Real
the
fun.
hell? The the first movie it is an internal conflict movie, right? It is sort of a to use kind of the people against nature kind of thing. Like that is kind of the conflict. It is about like trying to reconnect to the her to the ocean, and it's a lot of the internal struggles of Moana and trying to like figure out who she is. Um, and then they're trying to do that plot again, except she already is like where she was at the very end of Moana, where she's like found herself.
Yeah.
That's where she is in the beginning of this movie, and you can't go anywhere from there.
And they didn't.
When there's that moment,
They just didn't.
yeah, no, and when there's that
Yeah.
moment when she's like, I failed everything. I'm like, what are you talking about? You didn't fail at anything at all. What? It came out of nowhere, and it's like now I doubt myself, and it's like what? It's just like because like this has to happen now because the script, the plot said so that this has to. It felt like the movie was literally just like a bunch of disconnected plot beats that had to happen because they had to happen to make a movie.
Yeah. It
didn't
really
feel
felt like
organic
let's
at
just
all.
do it because Moana's popular, and we'll just have the
Yeah.
characters there, and we'll just put like no thought into it. It felt like really uninspired. And then I was like pissed when the post-credit scene teases this, another Moana movie. I'm like, how many?
MCU,
How
the
many
MCU of
Moanas do we
the
need?
Moanaverse.
Oh my god! Like I can't think of something I want less. It's Moana 3.
Well, I would have been like, why didn't you tell that story on this one? Because this wasn't a story
There was like nothing.
really all that
Yeah,
interesting or worth telling. Like
there's nothing here.
it's
Like
like
you literally like you can go to the next movie and you not having seen this one and you lose nothing. You know, it's like
pretty much because like you could say the oceans reconnected us all. You know, you could say that like all these different cultures are here now. Or probably what they
Yeah.
were planning on doing is have the series do that. The series is like we need to go to each. It could have even been like an adventure series where it's like each episode's like a different island we're going to or something. We have this like this threat, this evil threat that then turns out not to be an evil threat, and so there's some twists and stuff in that. But when you play it out in a movie, it just doesn't work at all. Like
yeah.
the villain character, like we are introduced to a villain. All they show is her feet. That's a villain. They show her feet like up close, and it's like everything else is like blocked out.
Yeah.
And then like every scene that she's in, we see like a little more of her. And then when she's revealed, she's like horrifying. She's got like those like crazy girlfriend eyes, you know, from the meme. And then she's just like, oh, she's just a normal person, and then she just helps.
Yeah.
What? What are we doing? What are we doing? That's not how you tell a story. None of this movie should be what not to do when writing a story. It was like I think I gave this critique with Wish. I was like writing a different plot to the movie while I was watching it, in the middle of watching it. I'm like, why are we not having any conflict with the crew? That could be something where it's like Moana is like thrust in this leadership position she's not ready for. She gets it, like she has all this conflict with the people on her boat, and then she gets like she gets too mad at them and gets really upset and like throws stuff back in their face when she's trying to be like a leader. That's like the oldest trope in terms of like ragtag crew storytelling. It's just the people that don't get along, and then they have to find a common ground and come together and forgive each other. And it didn't even have that.
Yeah, and the crew itself wasn't even interesting. You know, it's just like a couple of
No.
characters they threw at us, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
they're just there. They're part of the crew.
Yeah.
It's-
You love these people, right? Am I right? These are great. Like the huge fanboy, he's a real gas.
Yeah.
He's a real gas.
I love
He's
that.
a real gas. Love having him along. Oh boy.
And it's like the thing is, this movie will undoubtedly make a lot of money. So,
Oh, yeah.
so I don't know if they'll take a lesson away from this movie or not. But to be honest, going into this or out of this, this is like one of the first movies in a long time where I managed to avoid not a single bit of reception from like critics or anything before this. Like usually I'll try to avoid most of it, but I'll hear something. I haven't heard a single thing. I don't know what people think of this movie overall.
I had seen the Rotten Tomatoes score. It's like hovering on a 61. It's like really close to being rotten. Which it's very deserving of because this movie is not good. Letterboxd 3s is pretty much, I think it's averaging a 3 last I checked. So a lot of it's weighed generally low, but there are some people that are holding it up a little
like
bit.
average.
But, yeah, it's just mid. It's just the most. But like by that merit, that kind of is what. Like I'd rather probably, and I never want to watch it again. I'd probably want to watch Wish again before I watch this, because that's more interestingly bad.
That's what
Like,
I'm trying
how
to
do you
say.
screw up how do you screw up a 100th anniversary movie? Here are all the ways. That's more like, this is baffling that
But
this went this badly. This is just like,
I think even still, like,
this is this is confusing in a completely different way. It's just like,
it's
you had
confusifying.
every opportunity to,
Well,
yeah,
so
sure.
with Wish,
Was this Wicked?
there's a couple good songs in Wish. That there's like one that I really like is the Welcome to Roses one in the beginning. That's fun.
Oh yeah,
And there's some like the
yeah,
story is much more engaging to me than this one.
yeah.
And
I just didn't. Yeah, I think, to me, Wish's problem was that the story was just kind of ended up being frustrating. I think it did have the problem of, again, the main character had to be perfect or whatever, and she didn't really have too many foibles, and the villain turn like felt like completely unearned. There's
yeah,
problems generally with the general story,
but it's like there's something
but
to
it
sink your
tells a
teeth
story.
into. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it tells a story, at least. It's an interesting story.
And while the
It's not
visual style
good,
of Wish is like,
but
it's not perfect, it's not as polished, like
yeah.
we noted that, it's still more interesting to me,
Mm,
something different than like Moana, the Moana 2 style. But yeah, so now I'm
yeah.
struggling here because I feel like we rated Wish so low. It's like,
It's I
can I
the
justify
thing is
putting this
like,
below that? But
I the thing that's, honestly, it's like, it's almost like vibes are like one of the only things still going for this movie, because like, it's cold, but it's still nice to see this, like, this is, is not amazing as it looks. Still kind of like nice setting. It's a tropical
yeah,
setting. I still,
grasping.
despite my problems with all of the storytelling, all of the non-character development, I still really like Moana and Maui a lot as characters.
Mhm.
I wish the writing around the whole thing was just, give us
They
something
completely fumbled
to engage
yeah,
with.
like a beloved property here. Like the
Yeah,
Moana name
it's
is forever stained by this movie. Like, I don't know if they
pretty
can recover
much.
it.
Do you blame Dwayne the Rock Johnson,
I
because he
do,
was an executive
single-handedly.
producer on this?
I think the whole
Single-handedly.
blame goes on him. I think he probably
Probably. Well,
pushed
did you
Lynn out
see?
too.
Well, did you see? Well, Lynn wants my character to lose a
Yeah,
battle in this
exactly.
one, so he's gotta go.
That's right.
Did you
Maui
see
Maui
that the
lost the
cast
battle
list?
almost.
Do you see the cast list towards the end? If they when they showed it, it was like, oh, Johnson. He had, like, all his kids played the little kids on the island.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
All right.
nothing like a little nepo casting, you know.
Maybe he showed up on time to set at least. You know.
He, sh- he
But
showed up
so
on time.
and it's pissing me off. We're gonna have a Moana 3, and we're gonna have a live action remake of Moana as well. What's
Yeah.
going on here? You're
It's
Moana'd out.
insane. I am too, and it's really
It's a
unfortunate
shame.
to say that, because yeah, it's a good property, and I think they just totally, I don't know what they were thinking. But the thing is, okay, so I talked to one of my last customers on Wednesday. Was this grandparents taking their grandkids out to see a movie, and I just, in a general conversation with them, I was like, "Oh, what movie did you see?" And they were like, "Oh, we saw Moana 2." And I was like, "Oh yeah, what'd you think of it?" I was like, I'm going to see it like later this weekend." And the kids were like, "We loved it. We thought it was so good."
Yeah.
And I was like, and walking out of this, I was like, "Boy, kids sure don't watch very good movies these days. If this is what passes for
The
really
theater was
good."
bustling though. The most lively theater I've seen in a long time. Like most full theater I've been to, and they
Mine was
they
lively at the start.
but I mean, like, there's also just a lot of people. Period.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot. Yeah, my theater was pretty
I will
full.
say
Yeah.
they applauded at the end of this movie. They got some applause.
No, no. I
They
almost wanted.
loved
There was
it.
one person clapping. There was one person clapping in my theater. I wanted to just turn around and say, "No, you do not applaud for this movie. It's
But
not. No, this is not worth it."
it's like, if you enjoy it, that's great. I always feel
Yeah.
bad like saying I don't like a movie. Imagine those people who are like, "Oh, I love this movie," and they go online as like the worst fucking Disney movie I've ever seen. Oh, but
See, I didn't. I
but yeah,
didn't.
there's like people
I
right
don't
behind
normally.
us. They're like, man, that was great. Yes, I love that. Yeah,
Like,
it's okay.
okay. Okay.
But
Do you clap at the end of Doolittle? That's my question.
yeah,
No, there was um there was a lot more applause during Wicked. I didn't clap for Wicked. I rarely clap at the
yeah.
movies.
There was applause the
The
first
only
time I
time
saw it. Yeah,
the only time I think I've ever done that is like was probably for like stuff like event movies like the Avengers or
the
Spider-Man No Way
Avengers.
Home. I definitely I definitely forget. Well, not the end,
Yeah, throughout
during
the movie. Yeah,
moments. Like you just like yeah, like yeah, well, like in Spider-Man when the different Peter Parker's
yeah.
showing up, the whole audience is getting crazy, is going wild for it. So it's like yeah, you gotta like live in the moment there
Moana
with that, you know.
2,
But
Maui comes in.
oh yeah, Maui,
The little girl, they
sing us a
reunited at the
song.
end. Yeah. Yeah.
Yay.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I said at the beginning, this is how I feel. Is like if these people saw this movie and you stripped away like the Moana names, the Moana characters, and just swapped in like absolute substitutions, you'd be like, man, that movie was ass. And these people are just like blinded by the Moana-ness of it, you know. And I
Yeah.
think it gets a natural bump from it, like almost everyone, just by its nature. Where I think it's
Yeah.
a bad movie, and then people say, "Oh, it's okay." It's an okay movie. It's like no, it's a bad movie, but somehow you give it grace for it's like it's like a Disney movie and one of the a sequel to one of the biggest Disney movies ever. It's like obviously it's at least okay, right? You know, you just it's like you have
Yeah.
that bias coming into it.
Yeah. There's a little bit.
But so I feel like I don't know, uh, struggling with what to score it now, but
Yeah, I am too, actually. What is
what the
going on?
hell?
Stop. What is so important that you have to be texting me? Hello in there.
But
What's important? What's so important that's worth living for?
but my heart tells me that Wish is the better movie. My brother said I was crazy, crazy to say that, but I was like,
I think you might be a little crazy, but it's a more I think Wish is a worse movie, but Wish is a more interesting movie. That's kind of the damning thing
and you
about
know where I'm at in my
like
life.
Moana.
You know where I'm at in my life.
Moana on
Anything that's not interesting,
yeah.
you're going
Yeah.
down.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, man. Like this is just like a flatline the whole way. It is a perfectly serviceable, safe, family friendly. There's no anything. Why is this rated PG also?
Rude
There's like
humor.
nothing. There's nothing scary. There's nothing scary in this movie. Crude humor is in
I
G-rated
don't
movies.
know.
I don't give a damn. I don't know why it was rated because I think G is like a curse or whatever on movies now. Everything's got to be PG.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I genuinely didn't know. Yeah, how you felt about them because I didn't know how anyone really felt.
yeah,
Except for
yeah,
who I went to see it with. So,
yeah. It
all
was
right.
interesting. Yeah, yeah. No, it was not good. It was really like because I remember leaving Moana. I saw it with my family, and I remember we were all just like I was like, what was it, 2016 when it came out? So I was 24, 25. I was still like, I thought it was a magical. Like I thought it was just I was transported, to this world, to this ocean world, this great adventure, and this magic and villains and Maui as being a big, kind of a big. I love the himbos, and he definitely fits the bill. Um,
Yeah.
and this had none of the magic that I found back in 2016. It was like all the magic had been sucked out of the movie.
All right. Are we ready for our final scores?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Flip. Burn in hell. I give it a 3 out of 10.
I probably should have. Honestly, I should probably bring it down more. But I was thinking like Letterboxd, I'd probably give this 2, maybe 1.5 stars. 1.5, 2. I was sort of
Yeah.
floating in that. I was sort of floating in the 3, 4 area. I give it that because it's safe. There's nothing like other than the fact that the whole story and the structure and literally everything that makes a good story good was not there. Um, it's fine passing entertainment, I guess, for your kids. Wish is
Tarqaron score
bad. I feel like
3.5.
I would probably. I feel like I'm gonna show my kids Wish before I show them Moana 2.
What did our final rating end up being for Wish? Let me see.
I think I gave it. I had to have given it a 3. I feel like I feel like that's.
Curious where it fell. Wow, I didn't remember. We gave it a 5. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's
That's
worse
fine. That's
than
fine.
Wish.
This is worse.
That's right.
This is worse than Wish. Yeah, I think I would get. I think
Because
it's boring. I think that's. I think you and I have a similar feeling towards. Yeah, towards. I would rather have an interesting. This is the whole. This is the whole onus of why I love Red Letter Media and them reviewing terrible movies. I find terrible movies way more interesting than extremely safe, boring movies. And this is extremely safe and boring. Wish is also pretty safe, but it's interestingly bad in all the ways that I find engaging.
and there's more.
At least,
There's more depth to it. You know, there's more to there.
Yeah,
and more fun. I had more fun watching it. So yeah, for some reason in my mind, I always thought,
the villain song. Chris Pine had a great time doing that villain song. I mean, that's the fun of the movie I had. So
for some reason in my mind, I always thought we gave it like a 3. So that's what I was struggling with going to this. Is like, can I really bring it down to a 3? But yeah, it turns out we had already matched it in the beginning. So, but it felt better to go down. Yeah, it's like
did feel better. Boy, that was rough.
Yeah, and so
magic was gone. Magic was gone.
It's sad. It's sad, but we've got Mufasa coming up to try to redeem Disney for the month. All right.
Oh, okay. And I texted you. I texted you this, and you were like, "Well, I wouldn't go that far," but I'm standing by. I'm standing by what I said, and it might be the worst trailer I've ever seen. And the only reason that I say that is because it's just noise. Like, there's definitely like worse trailers in terms of like the Minecraft trailers are all horrible. I don't know if you've seen any of those.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Like the second Minecraft trailer, Jack Black literally says, "When I was young, I yearned for the mines."
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
What? Why are we doing that? Why are you saying that in a movie? But the Lion King, the Mufasa trailer, it was just like my brain, like I wanted to throw something because it was like a fight or flight reaction because it was just constant noise talking. You know that weird thing in movies when or in trailers when they edit stuff, they edit dialogue, and there's like it clearly is like cutting off a line and then it's like jumping to the next line. It did that through the whole trailer, and I was going insane.
Yeah,
it was like I'm Mufasa. My name is Nala. I am this. Don't eat him. Taka, don't yet eat him. I was like, make it stop. Make it stop.
We'll see how that goes.
It just looks so boring.
That's the next Disney movie on the docket for us.
It looks so boring. It comes out the same day as Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and that movie looks great. That movie looks amazing. Visually, it looks great. Casting, I'm so excited. The fact that I'm more excited for a Sonic the Hedgehog movie in the year of our Lord 2024 speaks volumes to the absolute state of Disney right now.
I'm like, because like they struck gold with Inside Out 2, the most successful movie ever they've ever done,
which is crazy because it was good. You know, I think we enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Most people loved it. You know, way.
Yeah.
But it's like we got Inside Out 2, which was really good, but that was a sequel, and then now we have Moana 2, another sequel. Yeah. We got Mufasa, another sequel to a quote live action
prequel to a
remake that's technically animated.
Yeah.
But and then the next year we got Stitch, we got Snow White, we got Moana live action remake like the year after. It's like,
yeah, that's 2026. I'm like, that's way too soon. Why are we doing this? It's because The Rock wants to be in it. That's why.
Yeah,
He wants
exactly.
to flex his ego super
It's
hard.
10 years after Moana, getting the live action remake.
It's stupid. It's so stupid.
Oh, man. So it's just like, I hope they don't take, like, because I feel like this movie's got to sell really well, right? It's going to make a lot of money because
I
so
think it's made a
popular.
lot of money already. I think it's made a lot of money already. I think it's already been pretty succcul.
So I'm just like,
Moana
leave it
2.
to Disney to take.
One of my searches is Moana 2 mid AF. I did want to see if other people had the same reaction, and yeah, it was pretty similar. Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes 60. It's a 64%. Wow, I'm surprised it's hovering that high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a budget of about 150 million. That's actually not a lot when it comes to animated movies. Like most of their animated movies have been like 200 million recently because of how expensive it is to make them, which shows how this was a budget movie. Like it was sort of like, it's a cost saving measure.
Right.
Budget for the first one was 150 to 175, which is in 2016 money, and so, and that, interestingly enough, Moana 1 only made 687.2 million at the box office. I think it has been a huge hit in streaming, like you said. I think the soundtrack has just done extremely well too. But yeah, this has already made almost 400 million. So it's already more or less made its budget back, and I don't think it's opened in every territory yet either.
Yeah. So
seeing,
yeah, I just don't want them to take all the wrong lessons from this. Like, look how good our sequels are doing. We got to do more sequels. That's what people want, you know. Because Disney have obviously been playing it safe these past couple of years, doing more and more of that.
They've had to, because they got to try to recoup their money because of how. I mean, that's been kind of the big thing, is that they've been trying to make their money back on a lot of the massive failures they've had by being more experimental, and so they're like, all right, well, we got to play it more safe. So Zootopia 2 is next year.
Yeah, Zootopia 2. You got Toy Story 7 coming out soon.
Toy Story. Well, I will give Zootopia 2 this. Moana 2. It's a sequel to a movie that didn't break. Didn't break $750,000. Zootopia was $1 billion movie. That was ridiculously popular. I was actually shocked when I found that out. But I know that Zootopia was like super popular internationally. Like it was a huge hit.
I mean, Zootopia was a banger. Zootopia was a banger, and there's a lot more potential for a sequel there. So I hope they don't fumble that one. There's a lot more you can do with the world like that, but
yeah, they're like, for all the world building this movie, the Moana 2 tried, it really just didn't quite hit.
Yeah,
didn't really do enough in that regard to be that engaging. Yeah, Zootopia's world itself is already just fascinating. So looking forward to that. That does have more potential. I will agree with that, but.
We're here. We're here for most of the Disney movies we try to review when they come out.
Through hell or high water, and it's been hell for the last while here.
Of course, we skipped reviewing Inside Out 2 and made sure to hit up Moana 2.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't see it at the time, but
yeah, I did get to see it, and I had a very pleasant experience. I really liked it a lot. I think Inside Out 2 was great. I think Pixar may have refound their footing a little bit more. I know people have had, there's been a lot of ups and downs in terms of how the Pixar stuff has done. Like, Luca, Turning Red, Lightyear. Like there's still a lot of ups and downs in terms of what they're doing. But then they also had Soul recently, 4 years ago. And that's like one of my favorite, like all-time favorites, probably, of them.
yeah,
Turning Red was really fun. So I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird times for the studio right now.
We'll see how our boy Elio does next year. You know, checking
I'm
in.
excited. I'm looking forward to that. I as an alien space fun person.
Absolutely, that's
I'm
what I always.
excited.
Whenever I
Big
introduce you to someone, that's how I'd
spaceman.
introduce you.
I like that weird alien space guy. He loves them.
Yeah,
Loves them aliens.
but yeah. So we try to review most Disney movies. We'll miss one every now and then, but most Disney and Pixar. So and we're there for all the live action remakes. That's the ones we'll always be there for. So,
Yeah, always. Always. Yeah, even Snow White. That looks scuffed, man. It looks real
yeah,
bad.
brother.
It looks
Oh
horrible.
yeah.
It
I
looks
can't
terrible.
wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to.
I
Not
can't
really
wait.
looking forward to it, but let's
Let's
go.
do it.
Go
All
to the
right.
movies.
Thank you for watching this review. Hopefully, you're not too upset by our thoughts on the movie. Hopefully, if you enjoyed it, I hope you continue to enjoy the movie.
Sound off in the comments if you enjoyed it, if you caught something, maybe we just didn't get it. We're not with it. We're not hip with the kids anymore, so
It's like the bell at the
I
end
don't think
of
I missed
Polar
anything though.
Express. You only get it if you get it. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, forgot about that.
If you enjoyed this video, why don't you go check out our review of Wish. Wish,
Yeah,
the better
we referenced
movie.
it a lot here. So.
Oh man, Wish is better. Let us know in the comments. Is Wish better than Moana 2?
Yeah.
All right.
Let us know.
And subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. Like the video, and take care of yourselves. All right.